Hi guys, before we get into the topic or discussion of religion as an institution, which is a place of worship, right? The church and mosque. Before we get into that, I have to ask the question, and let's start here. What are the behaviors, or what behaviors are often denoted to a religious person? So if you see a religious person, what behavior would you qualify and say that person is religious? Most of the time it will be because the person prays, the person fasts, the person probably abstains from certain things like maybe sex or alcohol, or the person has high moral standing on certain issues, and you would qualify that person as a religious person. But the funny thing is, the person that is religious and the person that is relational, they kind of have the same behaviors. A relational person would do the same thing that you qualify a religious person to do. So what makes these people different? It is the motivation. It is the intent. The religious person will be doing it so they can obtain something, obtain righteousness, be in good standing with the holy, perfect God, work their way so they get a reward to get to heaven, or to get 50 wives when they live eternally. One person is working to get something and is motivated. Their actions are motivated by that, whilst the other person is motivated by love. If you're looking for something different, that is love. When I started with relationship, you should have known that I was getting here, right? Because what is relationship without love, right? So the person that is relational with the holy and perfect God is motivated by the abundant love that Christ has shown them in what he has done and who he is. The other person wants to make sure they're in good standing and they obtain righteousness through their actions, and they get purified and they cleanse themselves and they're on moral standing so they can obtain this higher calling with a holy and perfect God. Two of them will be practicing the same things, but they are motivated by something else. A relational person that is motivated by love comes to know that what Christ has done and the abundance love he has, that somebody that has gave his life, and I'm using somebody because Jesus came as a person, that gave his life for someone who was an enemy of states, right? That kind of love shifts something in us and leads that person to repentance. And then by the daily walking, because it takes time, by the daily walking and knowing of God, the person becomes or comes to have great fear. When I mean great fear, I mean reverence, great respect for God, and now wants to commit their lives to please him more and more every day. This is why you hear the buzzword intimacy, right? Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. You've been in relationships with a guy or a girl where the love has shifted your heart in a certain way and you want to do anything for this person. Well, you can imagine that times infinity with a holy God that is perfect, that has, because of his love he has shown for you, that has now instigated and propelled something in you to want to please him. And because you're unable to do that because he is perfect, that's where the help comes from. Because how would we be holy, or how is man good, or will achieve perfection? How can we cleanse ourselves to achieve righteousness when we are flawed? And I mentioned in my previous video that we would dive into the question of, is a person inherently good? My opinion is that is not possible, because a person or people are flawed, and there would always be elements of pride. We would always want to think we know better. We want to go our own way, right? That comes in opposition to a perfect God that we believe that created everything that we see and has his standards, it will be difficult to achieve that perfect standard when we are imperfect. Therefore, we need a holy God to walk with us to make us like him. That is why if you stop walking with God, you stop where you are. Which is why it's impossible when you are being legalistic and religious and doing all the rituals, all the steps, all the doctrines to cleanse, admonish yourself. It's impossible to achieve that holiness. It's impossible to achieve that perfection. Religion will make you focus on yourself. Relationship with Christ, with God, will make you focus on him, because it's from him you can do all things. And I'll give you an analogy. Somebody is walking, minding his own business. A man is walking, minding his own business, and he stumbles upon treasure. And he finds this treasure in a field, in a land. And he goes to sell everything he has so he can buy that land because of that treasure. That is what it means when you encounter God and when you are changed and transformed from knowing him. So I have to divide this and have to talk about the person that is religious and the person that is relational. It is the motivation of the heart that propels, because then we live for a holy God. Then the person, when they want to go their own way, the counsel of God, they have the choice to get his counsel and go his way. And this is the reason why I said earlier that man can't be inherently good, because our standards are flawed and limited by our pride. We'll go in the next video and we'll talk about religion as an institution. I hope to see you there. Bye guys.